This has got to be one of the most controversial things I've ever covered on the channel. Yesterday we were talking about Algerian athlete Khalif, and I did a video talking about, as I understood from all the articles I read, there's a trans athlete who has made the transition to female and is now competing at the Olympics. It looks like I was wrong. I got a couple messages from people and they corrected me, and there was actually something here. I had to Google it. Can women be born with the XY chromosome? Before we get into this, I want to run you through very quickly the first fight of Khalif in the Olympics, where she stopped another boxer and put her down in tears, literally in tears. So let's watch this first. This is such a hard topic to discuss. So, I mean, the very first thing that I notice when I see these two athletes squaring off, and I'm just going to be truthful and pretty blunt about it, the athlete in the blue looks like a female build to me. The athlete in the red does not have the female build, as far as I can tell. We see a break here. Athlete gets the headgear adjusted, goes back out. Here we go, takes a cross, and for some reason steps out, and from what I heard, this Italian athlete just went, no, I don't want to fight anymore. Like, there was so much power in that shot. This is such a hard topic. I'm going to read you what somebody wrote me. He said, "Hey Gabriel, I'm a huge fan of your channel and I've followed you for years. I'm sure you're hearing this from all other people, but while you are 1000% right, trans women shouldn't compete in women's divisions, this case is a little different. From what I understand, Khalif was born as a woman but with XY genes. People can be biologically a woman while genetically male, although they have never known this. They would have never known this unless a test is conducted. It is very murky and worth conversation." It is very difficult to discuss. And keep in mind, guys, I'm not trying to criticize and go out and do anything bad for this fighter, Khalif. You want to go in and you want to enjoy boxing, you want to be a part of fight sports, I think that's great. I do have concern when I see people getting hurt. The same way on the channel when I've spoken and said, look, I have a problem with fighters who do massive weight cuts because it is an unfair advantage. So the question becomes, is having XY chromosome at birth an advantage, an unfair advantage that should disqualify you from not being able to compete as a woman? It's so hard because obviously Khalif has taken time and energy and sacrifice to qualify for the Olympics. Can you take that away from them? I don't know. I really don't. I understand that the IOC, the governing body of the Olympics, probably had a very tough time deciding whether to allow these athletes to compete. But still, at the end of the day, for me, because I'm so against people cutting weight, taking advantage of other people, I don't think it should be allowed. I think for weight cutting, what should happen is both fighters step on the scale just before they compete. There can be only a certain amount of weight between each individual. No more of this, oh, I'm gonna walk around at 225 pounds and in camp drop down to like 200 and then cut my way to 185 to balloon back up. First of all, it's unhealthy for you. It's also unhealthy for the other person getting hit, and that is my concern. Is the XY chromosome that Khalif had at birth giving her an unfair advantage? And I would say yes, especially when I watched that fight with the Italian boxer quitting, and you hear from a couple people, you hear from the coaches saying, no, I don't think this is fair. We have even here, Australian captain of the boxing team, Caitlin Parker, saying XY chromosome fighters should not be allowed to compete. Granted, as far as I can understand, she has a fighter who's going to be competing against Khalif pretty soon. But I just wanted to clarify that I did make a mistake. I thought this was a trans athlete. I did not understand what the situation was, and I've learned something Do I think that this fighter should still be allowed to compete? I have to honestly say no. Right? It's about safety, and we do have athletes like Clarissa Shields, who is just a devastating female boxer. But somebody pointed out to me that she went in and boxed against a male, not a super high level male, not somebody who's going to be in the top 10 at her weight class, and she got knocked down or knocked out, I was told. So it's very unfortunate for Khalif having that. I don't know what you want to call it, if you want to call it a defect. Some of these sites are saying defect at birth. But there are times in life where somebody gets a really, really bad shake, essentially, and it does affect you. And while one person being affected negatively is very sad, when you have a whole group of women who are trying to qualify, who put their heart and soul into it, and they don't have that XY chromosome, and they're a little bit, I don't know, slower, they don't hit quite as hard, they can't cut as much weight, something, I don't think it's fair. And I'm not saying that to be negative. That's just the way I feel. I feel like this is already a dangerous enough sport. I already feel like this is a dangerous enough sport. Contact sports, combat sports, obviously going to be the most dangerous thing pretty much in the world for sports. Maybe not all said and done, because things like mountain biking, I hear about people falling and hurting their neck, but when you have two people colliding with each other and one person has an advantage, I just don't think I can get behind it. So apologies to anybody out there who was correct saying, no, this is not actually a man, but the XY chromosome, I mean, it's up for you to decide. I've said my 2 cents on the subject.